still teaching school? And she says, no, I retired last year.
Huh. She's probably...
But anyway, 3 of Betty's girls were there with them, and they were real cute girls, and I didn't know they had a girl.
Yeah, they had.
I know they have one now down in Boulder, that's a school teacher.
They may have more than one, I can't remember.
Yeah, and then the other one, I know they've got this Betty, and one of these granddaughters is married to Nidegger's
Oh, yeah?
grandson.
Well, they retired at least 10 years ago, didn't they, Theo?
Quite a while back.
Because it seemed like it was almost 10 years since you and I went down
But
to
it was
Boulder.
fun to see them.
You've gone down to Boulder, haven't you?
Yeah.
I think driving that, what do they call that?
That bird trail?
That back trail.
Well, the bird trail is out of Boulder, but you
Yeah.
can take that.
Skyline
it's not,
Highway or something like that.
It's over the top of a mountain.
It's down in Razorback or something like that.
It's pretty
And
country.
There's a big
Beautiful
valley on
country.
either side of this road, and it's really, well, I guess it's half a mile wide, but it seems so narrow when you're looking down both ways.
Yeah.
You see in a valley, it makes you feel like it's a lot narrower than it was. Even though the cliff was over there about 10 feet or 20.
We went out on the North Rim. Is it Angel's Point or something like that? That you walk out
Well, that's
there.
when she said Angel's Point.
Angel's Landing.
Angel's
Landing.
Landing, yeah.
Did you climb up there?
No, we didn't climb it. We just walked.
We walked out on
walked
it.
out from
The
the
Grand Canyon.
Oh, the Grand Canyon.
North Rim.
Okay, I was on the Zion. It's different.
Oh no,
place.
this was the North Rim of the Grand Canyon.
You just walk out from the.
It made you kind of sick to your stomach turned over.
So
Well, I almost felt kind of scary, even though I had about 10, 15 feet at least over to my right before it fell down. But it makes you feel a little
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah,
There
Oh,
was blood in
what-
the saddle.
Oh, have you been taking pictures of this? I think you have. You got a look on your face like maybe you have been.
Maybe.
He's guilty.
You know, sometimes I feel like I never shut up. And I'm going to hang a sign on my back that says, please help me quit talking.
I try.
Well, it's chilly out there.
It is chilly.
So did you come down your favorite way again?
Oh, yes.
Well, we made better time today.
We
And
just
there were no cars. Well, Salt Lake was a mess. Cars going every which way. They all must have been going to their
the
mother's
freeway
places.
was going, had a lot of traffic.
But when we got on that 13th East and came around the corner, we hardly saw a car. The rest of the
Oh,
way.
we did see a car, you know.
No, not very many.
But at least we was able to go 40 miles an hour, and then went even 45 after we got
But Matt,
down. So
we had to go see Aunt Willie, and in fact, I almost was going to ask if she could come down,
sure.
but
couldn't come.
well, I thought I better see what she says first, and she just says maybe one day if we just come down and go back, you know, she'd ride with us, but she doesn't come to our place to speak of anymore.
It's too bad.
Just too hard to get around, you mean?
That's
No,
what
she
she
gets
says.
the Eastern Star. She signed up to be another point next year. She
Yeah,
gets around
she has
where
to
she
make
wants to.
some kind of a recitation whenever a member is being installed,
But
newly installed. Why she has to read some kind of a thing that's 2 or 3 paragraphs long.
Oh.
Only she doesn't read it; she has to memorize it, doesn't
Yeah.
she?
But,
you know, the funniest thing she
we
said,
asked her. I said, well, I never told her that, but I told Max. I said, I'll ask Willie. I know she'll say no, but if she should say yes, I'll have to call Melinda and ask her if it's all right.
Well, Boyd was
Fine.
in town last week, and she went to a show, and Theo says, "What show did you go to?" And she says, "Shakespeare in Love." She says, "But you wouldn't like it." She says, "You have to know Shakespeare to like it."
Do you know what we went to see though that was fun? A beautiful, it's a beautiful life.
Life is
Have
beautiful.
you seen it?
But Melinda
Have
has.
you seen it?
It's a life is beautiful.
Life is beautiful, is that what it is?
The
The
Life
Italian.
is beautiful.
Well, anyhow, I thought it was going to be something about a beautiful life instead of this,
Holocaust.
the Holocaust.
Well, the first part was a pretty much a beautiful.
Well,
I
I
thought-
enjoyed the show, but I mean,
Yeah.
it just
It's not what
was
you thought.
completely different than I expected.
But you know, at first, we couldn't read the written
I couldn't
part
read the-
fast enough to look up and see what the picture was.
Either
That
that
was
or
the
I'd watch the
problem.
picture and couldn't read the writing
But
anyhow.
by the end
Either
of it,
way.
I was doing pretty good. It was a good
Sometimes
show.
we finish the whole
Yeah, I
sentence.
want the rest of them to see it too.
But I wish I had character.
He was standing on his seat and yelling and talking, the whole doggone program. And jumping up and down.
Yeah, instead of walking up the aisle, he was walking from one seat to the other on top of the seats.
Yeah, you can see
Well, he
it.
really made
Playing
a show
himself
that
in the
day.
movie.
But it
And
was,
Yes,
he
he's a
sure was
comedian.
good in the show.
He made his roots. He was a comedian.
well, he's a comedian, all right.
He was still a comedian.
Even in the Holocaust, he was so funny. He was so, that little boy was so cute.
Yeah, and I guess he's really married to that woman. I think that's his real wife.
Oh, is that right?
I think so.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well,
Well, it was really a good show.
it was
But it just was so much different. And I thought I really kind of hesitated going to it because I thought it's going to be so much lovey-dovey and stuff like that.
You don't like
It'd
Lovey
be
Dovey?
monotonous. Well, some of them get carried away.
yeah, we went to one that was an Academy Award winner. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was one with Jack Nicholson and
Well, I always liked Jack Nicholson.
You did?
Didn't you?
We always play such creepy people.
yeah, he does.
And he played him well.
But we don't
Yeah,
go
he's a good actor.
we don't go to many shows anymore.
Yeah, every Sunday we used to gather up Willie and go to a show and come home and have a drink. And when we had quit having drinks, Willie quit going to shows. So then we quit going to shows.
You took the fun out of it. Are you going to sing, Grandpa?
No.
Oh,
He hasn't sang for a long time.
sang at
He really needs Jerry to play the guitar.
Oh, yeah.
Because he can't play the guitar either.
He can play the guitar.
He can play the guitar better than I can sing, I'll say that. That was the thing that I couldn't go around it, I'd end up on the ground
He'd
myself.
go around a while, then pretty soon he'd
Get
fall on
dizzy?
his back. The airplane was
Mrs.
flying
Brooks sat in the
around.
chair car and watched me and laughed till she got back.
Mom laughed so hard. She was that way. She'd get with her sisters and they'd start talking about something and then they'd get on a laughing jag. But Max would follow that airplane and then pretty soon he'd get dizzy and fall on his back.
I don't think I'd get dizzy, I'd just trip over my own feet.
The airplane would keep going around and around.
Well, last night on the show, they was having the grand champions of these band playing.
Oh, that was
from
a
different
fun
places.
show.
Toledo, Ohio had a couple of them. those people would march, and you couldn't believe how they could march.
Have you ever watched
And
those?
then after
the
that,
marching
Looked
band?
like they was just all
Not on
going
TV.
every which way, and all of a sudden they'd be in a perfect formation.
They play. I bet you've seen them. Some of them have 4 drums, and they're beating all these 4 drums at once. Well, see,
Well,
when we went to Florida with Dorothy and Pete, their youngest son was in this competition. And so we went out and sat in the grandstand and watched it all night, live. And it's fascinating. I don't know what they're drawing out all the time, They
well, I think that these were the grand champions.
Yeah, these were the world
They rated them
champions.
like they do the athletic programs, by points. And the one that won that was 97 point something.
Wow.
And the last one was about 82 or 83. And there was about 8 or 10 of them. So
They were just
they were all
close.
pretty
the
darn
way
good.
they could twirl those
I
flags.
said I can't understand how they could ever find a champion of it, but they did. They all
Hannah
looked so
will be
perfect to
anxious to hear what your award is.
me. Oh, to fly over there.
Is that
I
how?
never look out the window.
Is that how Hannah? Have you got mileage enough for her to go back on? Is that it?
So we got a cheap fare.
Got a cheap fare.
You got a cheap fare.
And there have been some less expensive fares out there. I hope they don't all go away.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when Dad died, I think I paid $400 for a round trip. And now I guess that'd be cheap, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd probably be a cheap one.
Well, actually,
That
the one that Hannah got was 150 round
Yeah,
trip.
but he had to get one.
But that's a real one. But then
Right. Oh yeah. Well, if you had
then
to,
if you walk in and say I'm going to
yeah,
to
it's like
Utah
a-
from
it's about-
Massachusetts, it'd be
about $1,000.
yeah.
Something, maybe more.
It's I realized that when you have a month or two to
Yeah.
That was the most stupid thing we ever did.
How was it?
got cleared Ohio and turned
Isn't it
around
crazy?
from home.
I cried the whole way.
We thought it was a little funny, but
Well, I mean,
Well, we
it
was-
was gone when we
Sorry,
came
but
home, I
about-
think.
Yeah.
Sure.
Steve had
When-
graduated, and we never got to the one of
well,
his
see,
graduation.
Roland called us and told us there was nobody there to make funeral arrangements. Oakley was gone, Willie was gone, we were gone. But why we didn't wait till Monday, and then Max flew home Monday anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
We were out there on the road, driving all night.
I know. You're
We went to
exhausted.
bed about 11 o'clock in this, it was the cheapest motel, but it wasn't a bad one. It was, what's it called?
A night's in.
Oh, yeah, Night's Inn. And I think it only cost us $7, $8 for the night. It seems
Oh,
like.
well, I don't know.
Well,
Max, here you go again.
Well, but yeah, that was too bad.
Well, that was the saddest day of my life, because I
But
wanted
they'll
to
still
be to that
complain about
graduation.
not making Steve's graduation.
Well, he should get another degree so you can go.
But you know, when there's a death, and they call you,
Well, it just throws you off, doesn't
you,
it?
you don't have enough sense to think you can't drive across the country in 2 days. We got as far as Ohio. We could see where we were. So then we
Yeah.
turned around, went back to
That's the
Massachusetts.
next morning, too. But we made pretty good mileage that night, that day. But it was a long ways to go.
Yeah. Ohio's not very far along.
Yeah, we drove the same route, I guess, for a lot of it.
Well, one time we was coming to see you, we got up on the Highway 8, no, the one above 80. But anyhow, we went about 600 miles and finally stopped in the middle of the Mississippi. There was an island.
Oh, Max, that was when Steve and Jerry were with us.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think we made 600 miles that day.
Yeah.
It was a long day.
Well, we got to a place and it says there's a detour, and we had decided we was going to make Mississippi one way or another.
Not Mississippi.
Yeah.
Well, Mississippi River.
It was
Oh,
Mississippi
the river. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah,
you
and there's
meant
an island in the middle of it, and we stayed in the island. And the next day,
it
we
rained
went
on
over
you.
to Wisconsin, and I said, "Oh, that's quite a rain we had last night." This guy says, "Oh, what rain?" or something like that.
There was a lot of lightning.
Yeah,
Well,
but
thunder.
you two stood out, you and Jerry stood out in it and got soaking wet that night.
Well, it was a warm rain. It was a fun rainstorm.
Huh. But it didn't, it just rained in the river, huh?
Well, I swore the river was going to come up and flood us out.
Could.
But it didn't.
Happened before.
It has, lately, it seems like that Mississippi's running all over the place.
Yeah,
I had a
crazy.
huge flood about 3 years ago, I guess, or 4 years ago. Yeah, it was a mess. You'd build all those homes close to the river in the floodplain, and they flooded.
Oh, we saw a show on television telling about that little town that was flooded out completely.
Yeah.
Well, when I was
Wiped it right out.
in 1968, I went back to Washington, D.C. for a month. And during the time I was back there, the Ohio flooded everybody out.
Yeah, the Ohio floods a lot. Yeah, they had a lot of problems. But
Do you remember when we went on that trip? We went to cross over Niagara to come back in the United States. And they said, "Do you have any fireworks?" And Max says, "No." And Jerry says, "Oh, Dad, we do too. We bought some in Wyoming."
No, he didn't either. He said, bought some in Canada, and he had, but I
No,
thought
we
we'd shot
bought it,
all
but
of
we
those.
bought it in Wyoming
Oh, was it?
anyway. Jerry said, "Oh yes, we have fireworks."
He didn't say where we bought it. He just
He
said,
didn't
"Be a
say where
firework."
we bought it. He just
So
told
then they took every damn suitcase we had and went through every bit of it and give us a real thorough check.
And we were bringing some wedding gifts back to you,
Oh.
and they were those plastic dishes that you used for a long time,
Huh.
and
So Jerry was
they
with
were
you?
all sealed up, and they wanted to unpack those on us, and finally they let us take those without. But Jerry, you know, and you can't get after a kid for being honest.
No.
I hope that voice is not still running on there.
No.
Oh, good.
Which voice is that?
You've got to
It's
run
not
the
recording.
you got to run the camera before it records your voice. Oh, good.
Yeah. What's the matter with that anyway?
Well, I just don't like to hear myself again. Concealed always tell me I'm talking too much.
Well, we can go sit over somewhere else on the soft seats. You could sing for us.
Well,
didn't jump at that one.
I used to like to sing the Dying Cowboy.
Well, you still do like to. You sang it at Christmas.
Did I?
Mm-hmm.
I must have had a few drinks.
Yeah, some of that sparkling grape juice. Maybe we should open that today. Give him some.
Yeah, I think spots I had, pick the gravel and drain the dirt out of it. When I got up out of my knees, I didn't think I was going to ever make it without Theo coming to help me, but I did.
Hmm.